everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here, back at Painted Studio for our second live today. We started our lives earlier today with a cow skull and reviewing the bead gel ornaments. So today, I probably have crap on. I'm looking at the camera, it looks like I got stuff stuck under my face. Who knows? It could be paint, could be my lipstick, could be just a shadow. Really? Doesn't matter. Spotlight on my upper lip. Hey, George. Nice to see you here, George, as I'm zooming in on my painted, crap-covered mouth. So, kind of go through this in steps right now. So earlier we had our cow skull that was cast in resin. I ordered it off of Amazon. The whole thing cost like 25 bucks. Hey, Manetta, nice to see you here. Hey, George. And then we painted it with Set Coat Black. Now, you all saw me slopping the paint on this. Hey, Lynette. You saw me slopping the paint on this because I knew how well it was going to level out. So I'm going to show this to you close up. The roughness on here is the tooling. My set coat leveled out perfectly on here. And you saw, I didn't really make a whole lot of effort. You know, I got my brush strokes nice and neat and smooth, but yeah, I didn't kill myself on it. I didn't spray it. So that's how nicely Faux Effects Set Coat levels out. All right, we're gonna swing the camera down. Now, these two parts you'll notice are glossier. That's because I put foil adhesive on them earlier when we were off camera because I needed them to be ready to go for this live. So I'm just gonna show you how we got there. My brush is a little damp, so let me get a piece of towel. Wipe out that extra moisture. And that's, you know, even after I've had this drying for a while, that's a lot of moisture in your brush. So if you don't want a wet brush, pay attention to things like that. This is our Artsyville foil adhesive. I know that's not what the jars normally look like, but you all know I drop things. I've broken jars, or containers, spilled them, cracked them, done all kinds of fun things. So I just repot them into smaller jars to make my own life easier. And I'm just brushing on a layer of foil adhesive. Now the one thing, unlike Set Coat, this stuff doesn't level out. So how you apply it will be how you see it in the end. So on the skull, it was a lot of pouncing stuff in and then trying to brush it back a little smoother because it's got a lot of texture on it. The horns are much easier because, you know, they're smooth. They all go in one direction. I just check for any tooling marks to make sure I've worked the adhesive into those spots. And then I'll go back over it with my brush to get all the brush strokes in the same direction. Now, right up here at the top where I'm brushing, there's actual circular tooling there that goes around the entire circumference of the horn. So I'm only brushing in a linear manner up to those tooling marks up there, those circle marks, so that the adhesive stays in that. I have a little spot right down here to catch. Now, I've set these in back to dry. I set them up on their end like this, so the only spot that might be touching something would be the tip, so that if that's a faulty spot, and I try to make sure something like that is always on the back where it might not get seen as much. And now I'm gonna go set this in the back to dry so I can go work on the other things. Give me just a second. Let me give you a cow skull to stare at while I do that. Okay, so this has been curing up for over an hour, which is perfect. I'm going to test it because it still feels a little gummy to me. So, but it might be my fingers and my hands because I've had so much foil adhesive around me all day today that, see, like this one, the horn feels fine, but the head feels a little gummy. So if it craps out on me, we know why. I was very generous with the adhesive, which is why after even an hour, it could still feel gummier than I want. If I wasn't doing this for a live, I'd probably just walk away and come back tomorrow because then I know the tack was set up firm enough. And the only reason I'd come back tomorrow is that it's 5 o'clock. So normally I'm like, okay, I'm done. So we're gonna take some of our purple tie-dye foil and we're gonna make purple tie-dye skull, and we're going to use kiwi leopard on those horns. Oh yeah, it's a Halloween cow skull in the most obnoxious way I could come up with. So the first thing I'm going to do is push the foil down to the surface. Now, I guarantee you, when I pull this off, it's going to be an extremely flawed release. Why? Because there are so many nooks, crannies, odd surfaces and stuff. This is going to take me a little while to do, which is fine because that gives the other horn a chance to cure back in my hot box in the back of the studio. And everybody asks me this every live I mention hot box. I happen to have built a heat room out of a hydroponic tent, a heater, and some conduit and stuff like that, so that for lives I can speed, enhance, accelerate dry times. I don't recommend this for projects. It's not what it's for. It's strictly for teaching purposes so that I can have things like paints and foil adhesives set up a little faster. Now, the reason you don't want to do this, in most cases, my hot box in the back basically heats everything up to about 165 degrees, which is like a brutally hot day. Yeah, I know people can't live in 165 degrees. Trust me, I get that. But it doesn't heat it beyond that. All right, first of all, already looking so cool. Because if you get it hotter than that, really all you're going to do is heat the outer edge, outer layer of product and create a skin like on pudding, and then nothing cures underneath and you get a faulty, you get a faulty finish. It's not stable, it's not going to have cured completely through, it could tear back. That's why I don't recommend hair dryers and stuff unless you just have one little spot you need to get dried. This'll be, you know, you overheat things, get the surface too hot, too fast, and all you've done is created a hard coating over liquid, and it might not ever cure properly. Okay, first of all, look how cool that looks in the purple tie-dye. I may not even go into the eyes. I may save, you know, fill those with black glitter or something. I haven't decided yet. But yes, I did actually put foil adhesive in all the nooks and crannies. I probably missed some. That happens when I'm doing stuff. See, like I missed a little. When you're doing stuff like this and you're jamming stuff, I missed a little spot here, so I'll come back and fix that later. This is easy to repair because I'm not working with a directional foil, so everything is super fixable, for want of a better way of phrasing it. Okay, take my little toothbrush. This, obviously, the skull is the perfect size to be using a toothbrush with because you've got lots of little nooks and crannies and odd shapes and strange places that you've got to shove stuff. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you. Robin, I'm glad you're here. Robin is a sorority sister of mine from Syracuse University. Back in the days where we both did bad things, like going out, smoked cigarettes, drank too much. Now we're all grown up, we don't do that sort of thing anymore. We're much better behaved. That's what, we got it all out of our systems in college. But we did have some fun in college, that's for sure. Studied hard, but had a lot of fun too. So right now I'm scrubbing the skull's teeth as I try to release foil on it. Oh, that's cool. I'm probably gonna need a little more foil. I don't know if I can get this whole skull done in this one piece, and I'm running out of areas that have any foil on it to lay onto the adhesive. The brush. I know there's stuff in there. Let's get in there. I get him with my fingernails. It's probably the ear canal that I was shoving my fingers in. Sorry, Cal. Okay, this is just so fun with this purple tie-dye all over it. And it really doesn't matter, because I painted the base black, so it really honestly does not matter if I miss some of the spots with the foil, because the black looks so good with this. I never in my life thought I would be brushing the teeth on a cow skull, let alone brushing the teeth on a cow skull on camera. The things we find ourselves doing. All right, let's see if I can get in these little crevices behind. There's little crevices in here, and I'm just working. Where did I get the skull, Minette? I just ordered it off of Amazon. Go on Amazon.com and search resin cow skulls or resin skulls. That's where I got all the other skulls last year when I was painting and doing other stuff with them. Need a little black paint down here too. I missed a few spots with the paint. Oh, my nose itches. All right, so I think I've got the majority. I've got a little bit on the back to get. Managed to get this skull done in with about a 1 full square foot of foil adhesive. Probably could use maybe 1.5 feet. Yeah, see, I've still got this to deal with here, and I've used up most of my piece here, but that doesn't matter. That will go in the scrap bag, and it'll go into some lucky person's package, and you will have scraps. Because every time somebody orders, I've actually had to shift this because you all have been ordering like crazy, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I am now only putting foil scraps in boxes with customers I know have bought foils in the past, because that means then they have the adhesive, or with customers who are buying foil and adhesive. The reason is, if you're buying a quart of texture medium, I don't know if you have the size and stuff, the adhesive and stuff at home, and there's so many people who just live for their scraps coming in their boxes, that I want to make sure the people who really want the scraps get them, instead of having somebody receive them who isn't interested. It's not a bad thing. If you're not interested, you're just not interested. It's not your gig. But then I don't want to send you foil scraps for somebody, as opposed to somebody who I know would just kill to have a little touch of purple or something show up in a package. Doesn't mean I love my other customers any less. I just don't have a bag full of texture medium scraps that would help anybody, because texture medium's a plaster. And anything that's, you know, liquidy that way, we don't have scraps of in a packing materials bag. I know I'm babbling, but that's what happens when you get on camera for a long time. All right, so we're gonna do the other horn, this horn. And I happen to hit it with a little bit of the purple there, but it won't matter by the time we're done. And I'm sitting this on parchment paper so that when I set it down to do the foiling, it won't stick to the surface. All right, so there's my cow skull. I'm setting that aside. Let's release some purple leopard on our horn. And again, not 100% perfect placement. Release will be crinkly and folded. That's okay. I'm taking my toothbrush, coming in here. Both the purple tie-dye and our kiwi leopard foil are fabric foils, so you can use them on clothing and pillows and anything else you want. They will work with our heat transfer vinyl adhesives. They'll work with our deco foil adhesives. They'll work with clearly our Artsyville adhesives. Oh, this is fun. All right, now I'm just gonna go over and touch up the spots that I skipped accidentally. On the side here. And this is simply because the foil was folded, which meant that there might have been spots that it didn't lay down on well, so we have to come in and just correct that. Not like it's a big problem. Okay, so I don't know which way the horns go. I don't know if they go that way, because I'm not a cattle person. I think they go actually this way. But what a cool house. And I'll do the other horn, I promise. It's just sitting drying while we are going to do our next part. But how fun is that? I really like that. That's super cute. All right, while that other horn cures up so that we can come back and put the foil on it, we're going to unhitch stuff from each itself, and we're going to work on a couple face masks. So last week you saw me working on the non-pleated masks, which are the easiest, but you know, these come in packs of 5 for $12.50, both the adult and the child size at Old Navy. But that doesn't mean you have to just leave it as it is. So I put some foil adhesive on these earlier, so before I try to write on these again and show you how I got there, I'm going to release the foil on here first, so that when I try to do it, if I tried to do it the other way, I'd smear all the wet foil adhesive. I know me, trust me, I've done it. All right, so this little mask, this little girl's mask, isn't that cute? Just little kid's mask. I outlined the lips in our Deco liquid foil adhesive, which I store turned upside down like this because then it keeps fluid in the tip and it doesn't clog. And I'm just going to use my Flower Power foil in Flower Power pink foil. I'm just pressing it on, rubbing it with my fingers. Peel it back, and now we've got a little metallic lip. I did another one here, so we'll go and out catch the little XO part. Excuse me, I'm a little bit in need of a bottle of water, which I am out of at the moment. We're just going to push this all on here so it sticks to the all the adhesive that I drew on. And look how cute is that? See, you got the little heart. Now, I can put a name across here. So my son's little sister's name is Juno. So let's write Juno on here. Okay, so I wrote Juno on there in foil adhesive, and I didn't realize well, no, you should have been able to see me, it was right here. So that'll dry and we'll release her name on there. On this one, we've got this killer paisley pattern. So I did a little detailing around some of it over here, so I'm gonna just take my koi cheetah in silver. And honestly, I don't remember where I started and finished on this one, so I'm just sort of rubbing my fingers over it and hoping I can feel it all. And there's a little more up there. I'd like to give you the reveal all at once. Heck, I want to see the reveal all at once too. So there's just a little more right up in this area. Oh yeah, that's cute. Peel that little bit that's stuck. So look how cute that is. Really all we did was just sort of outline the pattern, add a few little dots and stuff in there, and I'll show you how we do it. So obviously, because these are folded, they cannot manage well with the foil adhesive that we iron the foil over. So really, for these kind of masks, the scribble writer's the way to go. So I'm gonna pleat this for the moment, and this will make it easier for me here. So I'm just taking my scribble writer and I'm following some of the details of the paisley. And let's see, do this here. And then I'm just going to do some dots here, just like I did the other way over here. And then these will dry. And we can put the foil on them. Now, these are machine washable with cold water, not hot water. Do not put them in the dryer if you are concerned about them being sanitary. Remember, these aren't medical grade masks to begin with, but to make them sanitary, if you're concerned about that, take sanitizing spray, spray it all over the fabric. It will not hurt the foils in any way, shape, or form. So you can do that and you will have a sanitized mask. So I'm bringing a ton of crafty stuff like this on my trip next week. My son's little sister is going to be visiting. He hasn't seen her since January, so he's very excited. So I've planned a lot of age-appropriate crafts for when she comes, because apparently she loves doing crafts, so I'm all about encouraging kids and their creativity. Let's do this. I might even be able to talk her into going live on camera with me, because she is kind of likes to be on camera, so she might be able to do that as long as it's okay with her parents. Obviously, I always check on that sort of thing. I don't want to create any issues. We're about to get a heck of a rainstorm around here. It's starting to sound like thunder out, which means I probably should finish this up and close up the back of my car, pack up and go home. All right, so that will sit, that will dry as well. Let me go see how our antler is. I'm going to leave the mask there for you all to stare at. So here's my other cow horn. I really push the drying on this, so if it pulls back, you know why. And that's why we always say, let that adhesive dry for an hour. And honestly, the same is true with the fabric foil adhesive. This adhesive, the liquid, needs to dry for 30 minutes or until clear, whichever is longer. So you need a minimum of 30 minutes on that or until it turns clear. And that'll stay sticky for weeks. You can come back and work on it. I'm gonna leave those there and I'll come back and work on them when I come back from my trip. I'm not at all worried about them sitting there like that. All right, so now here's my green, kiwi green leopard again. We're gonna put it all over this. Let's hope it doesn't tear back because I put it while it was still too fresh. Let's hope I managed to get this all released well. All right, where's my toothbrush? Hope I don't rip it all the way back down to the surface under the paint because we pushed this today. We didn't give anything the normal dry time I normally give things. Got very lucky, folks, because it released really nicely. Whew, thank goodness. I was going to be so bummed if I ruined this by rushing it. Just going to touch up these spots where the foil was a little thinner. Check the back here because there are a couple of spots in the back. I knew there would be. This thing is still warm from being in the heater. So we are so lucky because that combination between being still warm, being rushed, being a little tacky, that really should have ruined it. So I got very, very lucky, folks. Don't do it this way. Okay, so here is now, hang on a second, let me check the upper edge here. There we go. We got a Halloween longhorn, folks. And we got foiled masks. I mean, this is just so cute. This cracks me up. This is gonna I'm gonna leave this sitting right here for my husband to see when he comes and does the shipping while I'm gone. He's going to be so confused. Poor Chip. I really am challenging him this week. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me. Got to move the camera up. It is 20 to 6, day's end. I am heading out of town for the next 10 days. The studio front door will be locked, but you can order nonstop 24/7 the entire time I'm gone. You can still ask questions. I'm going to try to do a couple lives, just doing some fun crafty stuff with my family. And hopefully everything will be great. My husband will be here. He's my partner, so he's doing all the shipping this week. Be patient with him. He's still trying to figure out all the names of the foil colors and everything. He's not like me. He's not looking at it 24/7, so he doesn't see it. Oh, this reminds me. One last thing. When we did the covered ornaments before. The one thing I wanted to remind you all, I said it in the video, you only want to be as thick as one bead in your thickness when you're troweling on the bead gel, and here's why. See down at the bottom, I got sloppy. I troweled it on so thick that you have the images disappearing. Now this wasn't a terribly successful one anyway. I slopped on the bead gel, I didn't smooth it out, I didn't get it thin enough, so you can see there's a thicker ring around the edges, it's thinner in the middle. It's not a great one. So that one, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it. But it's a great learning tool for me to remind you and show you where that problem is. And what happens is that if your beads are more than one layer thick, you're not seeing through them. So you're not seeing your image. So don't be real general with the, sorry, strange notification just part. Be real careful, not gentle, not generous. Be careful when you trowel on that bead gel, one bead thick, because if you're two, you start losing your image. All right, everybody, it was a great night with you here. Again, just because the doors are closed doesn't mean you can't order online. We will be shipping out all week. Like I said, be patient with my husband. He's still figuring out where I've put everything. That's partially on me. So have a great week, everybody. I will do some lives. I will catch up with you. I will post pictures. We're going to have some fun. And while I'm gone, we're going to start a contest. I don't know what the whole thing is going to be doing. I'm sort of formulating it. It's not the same as the share contest at the end of the month, but I'm going to do something involving our heat transfer vinyl pre-cuts. That I can tell you, that's what it's going to be. All right, everybody, have a good one. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.